Well, it's really fall out here, and I thought it'd be fun to show you guys how you take a bouquet that you buy in the store. I bought this at Whole Foods. And, you don't have to duplicate it as is, but you can paint some of the elements, the shapes of it, the textures of it, in any color you want. So we're going to play around with this one that I bought at Whole Foods, and we're going to see what I come up with. Alright, so now we're going to decide how we're going to change this. So here's the bouquet. I don't have the whole thing in the picture, but because I knew that the painting would be really small. This is the Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is the pad I'm using. This is the 10 by 14 pad. Got my paints here. I always talk about them as I use them. Paper towels. I'll be using quite a few brushes. I'll be playing around with this oval sapphire Robert Simmons 1/2 inch oval brush. I'll be using maybe my long round Princeton number 8, maybe play around with some Neptune brushes, and number 4 maybe for some tiny things if I need it. And maybe even use my pencil at this point. Who knows? As I can see, like these little ball kind of things here, I might want to just kind of on the corner here, just kind of just draw out where I'd kind of put the branches. Just give me a heads up in some places. But I think this yellow is too harsh. I mean, I bought the bouquet for the table, but in real life for painting, it's kind of tacky. I don't know if tacky, but like just harsh. I would probably change this yellow mum into an orange mum. And I don't know if I necessarily have the purple in here at all. I might just make these little doohickey flowers. I don't know, I forget what these called. They're like fillers. Into like more of a pinkish kind of tone, a red tone. The red roses are fine. I might make them a little more cranberry color. And this stalk I could change too. I don't even know if I necessarily pick the stalk, but I love this little greenery here. It's got some little teeny little like daisy on the end. And this kind of thing is kind of really funky. I don't know what this is. I don't know what these flowers are. But I'm going to play around with this. So you're looking at the flowers and you're like, okay, the mum, at least the mum, it's kind of like here and up here, center. So I could play around with the mum using all different kinds of brushes. I'm going to try playing around with this oval brush. And I do want to make it orange kind of tone. So I've got the brilliant orange here. It's a little too bright for orange that I want. I want it more muted, maybe even more like a blush tone. But golly yellow. I'll add a little burnt umber. And that's a much more muted orange. I like to mix my colors up first. So then I'm going to grab some of this magenta. I mean, just those two right there already changed the look of this, right? It's nice to have some greens mixed up. So I've got my peacock blue and my cadmium yellow deep. I'm going to grab that green and put the burnt umber there. I'll add some neutral tint to it. I'll take the neutral tint itself and I'll add some ultramarine blue. So it's like a blue-gray. And then yellow, I'll just keep it loose by, and I can kind of bleed it into some other colors. And I do want to put yellow in there, but that's just so intense, right, with the purple. Because those two are complementary colors, so they're going to really pull out your eye. Going to add a little more yellow to this orange. Maybe a touch of magenta. Playing around with this orange even more. Go back and add some more brilliant orange. All right, I'm going to water this down. Let's see what we got. If I feel like there's too much water on my brush, I always kind of tap it on my paper towel. So let's just make those petals. This is a great brush to make the petals with. I can zoom in a little bit so you can see. So then we get the mum in there. It's going to be hard because it's shadow, but you see what I'm saying. So there's the outer layer of the mums. See how there's the 3 different layers? We'll have to do one layer and go back in and do another layer. But you hold this brush because it's a rounded oval on its side. creates those perfect kind of petals. Voila. Don't want to go back in the other one and mess that one up. Then we got this one kind of peeking on the side. You could keep it orange again. Maybe just add a tint more of this magenta, just to change it up. No, it's not going to be exactly like the flower, but you're going to get the idea of the flower. Holding it on the side and just kind of twisting it and just turning and going around like this. I have many tutorials like this using similar brushes. I'll have to wait till these layers dry, so they're kind of close together. And then we've got the rose over here. Now I've got this pretty magenta. I can add a little yellow to it to make it more red. Maybe a touch of Prussian blue, get it in a cranberry tone. Gonna get more paint in there. Playing around with the color here. I could still use this brush. Now if you can see the rose, it's right here. I'll put it over here. I don't have to move this paper here. See? A lot of water, so I'm going to kind of tap some of that out. You're just doing the, see how you see those little, all these little layers in here? Holding on its side. Getting the feel of the rose. Leaving white spaces and just kind of like building up those layers. And grab a little darker of that magenta. Mix with all those colors again. Adding a little more. See? So it's deeper, darker now, but blade right into it. There's that curled one outside here, and there's a couple of curled pieces out here. And that's the rose. Moving it back so you can see. There we've got those. Now we've got some green with that stalk. You can play around with, make my green a little bit darker. Adding some Prussian blue, some burnt umber. Got this deeper, darker green. I added Prussian blue and see how darker that got. Still using this brush. Just going to pull out so you can see some of the stems kind of peeking through here. And there's a big leaf right here. I might want to switch the brush at this point. I could use an oval brush that's got the point like this. Make a great leaf. Or I could even use a flat wash brush. Talk about this all the time, making those abstract kind of shapes. A flat wash brush making a great leaf. See? But it's going to suck up a lot of that paint. So you gotta see I don't have enough paint for that one. Gotta mix up some more paint. But just by twisting that brush, I got that great leaf. And I can still use it in some of these other areas. And there's a leaf in here. Again, I showed you guys in the last video how to do abstract. I'm gonna grab some Prussian blue, some brown, some yellow, really deep dark. I'm gonna just twist that. Experiment with the brushes. Now I'll go back in. I might just use my Neptune round here. This is a 10. Gonna grab some more yellow. Make the green a little bit lighter. And put some lighter green accents and stems in here. You don't really see them everywhere else, but I'm just going to put those in. Imagination, guys. Just calls for it. No green over here. See, I don't even have to do the whole bouquet. If I just did some parts of it. That's good. So this part is pretty light green, this fuzzy stuff. This fuzzy stuff right here. And it's out by, there was another mum over here I didn't put in. We could make a yellow one. So you could have orange mums and yellow mums. We don't have to keep 3 orange mums. This yellow got too much green in it. So maybe more of a yellow-orange mum. And I could use a round brush for that. Don't have to keep with this other brush. I can put one out here, kind of like in sunflower color. See how I'm just gonna doing the same kind of thing with the petals, pulling that out. It'll be a little more abstract looking. And then we have that green, light green, little doohickey thing, I don't know what you call it. So I'll go like that with the line. And I'll put some branches off of that you see. And there's some more fuzziness coming out of it. I do want this green pretty. It was getting kind of muddy. So you see them kind of fuzzy. Just kind of wiggling the brush, trying to give it that. I'm not going to paint those little daisies, but I'm going to paint kind of how it feels. Right? It has those little fuzzies. Just like this. Giving it movement, giving it some life. While it's still damp, you know, it's going to have a shadow in here. I'm going to add a little Prussian blue where it's meeting up with the flowers. Go back in. And now, you got this, and it doesn't really show any browns or anything, but you can put some brown in. So I've got this, like I said, the burnt umber. I make some neutral tint in it. Don't be afraid. Let me grab some more burnt umber. And just make some little fun marks, like twigs kind of like floating. I do want to use a different brush for that. I'm using a lot of brushes today. A filbert brush. It's a small brush, but it's got a nice little round oval shape tip. You can make some similar petal kind of or shapes of flowers, but I want it smaller. So see, crisscross it. So now we're changing this whole look. We're not going to paint the bouquet. We're going to paint the elements of the bouquet. And I'll do some of that down here, crisscrossing some of the lovely little leaves so they don't seem alone. And I'm going to grab that blue gray that I mixed up. This is where you take into artistic liberty. There was some of that purple over here. I think it'd be kind of pretty if we just put some of that kind of over here. I'm just going to, see, I'm just going to lift this up, pushing in some color. It's creating like a balloon of some sort in that blue-gray tone. Put some over here behind the rose. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. You just change the colors of your flowers, but you're looking at them for structure, how they put it together. No, it did look like this thing, so I could have done that. That little weird, I don't know what you call this thing. Looks like this. It's got the little cap and these little funky leaves coming out of it that are like purple, bluish gray with a little green stem. So I did add that. And I will add some greenery that's down here. It's floating. I could still use this brush, this filbert brush, to go into the layer of the mums that we didn't do. So go back and grab that orange. We do the second or third layer. That's a little too bright. Water this down. Take some of that color off. So we're going back in here, adding that layer. And there's little ditzy layers in the middle. Again, we'll add some more color again. We'll add another layer. You don't have to do that. I mean, you can just make them like, I'm gonna add a little bit of that red to this one. See, changing that. And we'll get a little darker layer in center. And this yellow one, whoops. See, mistake. Grab that color right away. Take your paper towel. Didn't happen. Never happened. You wanted a darker yellow, but not like that. Just like that. Okay, then I have those little reddish kind of funky ball things here. They are kind of red and then clear at the bottom. So I'm going to just grab some water. Put that. I still got yellow hue on my water, my brush. Just filling in those little circles. And I can take some magenta and just bleed the top with a little of this red cranberry kind of color. See what happens. If you don't like it, we'll just fill it in. See? I'll just fill it in. It looked kind of weird. It wasn't working. We'll just do like the almost like berry looking things. I'm still using this filbert brush. Get this deeper color tone here. It's like a red brown. And you see like brown branches off that. So you can kind of connect it with this brush. Or even use a pencil. You see I have this funky little branch coming out here? There was another bloom, big one right here. Bigger one. And then you grab your brown, you go in here, and then there's some brown, green kind of tone. Little blooms, leaves underneath each one of these. Oops, trying to zoom in. So I'm going to move the plant a little bit. Little caps, doot, doot, like that. And there was a leaf behind it. It's really big, but I'm gonna just kind of make a small one. I can still use this filbert brush. I'll have to maneuver differently though, because it's small. And put some leaves behind it. Just kind of peeking through like this. So we're almost done with building like how we're gonna look. We're not gonna do this whole page. Right? We've got the basics in here. Do we need the bouquet anymore at this point? Probably not. So we've got the idea of it, and then you're just going to go and manipulate. Grabbing some more brown, putting some twig kind of things over here. So it's hard for you to see. So I'm going to remove the bouquet, and then we're just going to concentrate on what we came up with. Okay, so now you can see the full thing now that we've kind of played around with. You're not gonna need the bouquet anymore. At this point, you put the bouquet away, right? I was playing around with adding the twigs here. You can take some pencils, right? Put some pencil marks. If you're gonna add some more like blooms out this way, or out this way, play around with adding different elements to your painting. I might grab this filbert brush again. I think we only have this one rose in this color. Maybe a little bit of it over here. So we do want to, you do want to have like 2 or 3 elements of the same color. So I'll take this magenta. I add a little burnt umber to it. Teeny bit of Prussian blue. Maybe a little bit of yellow. More magenta. Okay, more of this down a little bit. You can add just these little flowers. I'm using the filbert brush. Just these drooping flowers. Way down here. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Over here. Another one here. So they're kind of like drooping mums. And then you can go back into your first rose and get some deeper color. Go in and put the center, make it a little sharper. And then there. When that's drying, you can go add even deeper. See, I'm grabbing more magenta and some Prussian blue and some brown. And I'll make that a little bit darker on the ends there. These guys get kind of muddled a little bit. I'll have to fix them up a little. That's what happens sometimes. I'm standing up, by the way, so it's a little tricky to paint certain elements when you're standing up, but actually sometimes it's better. So now I like this color, I'm going to water it down a little bit, and it's going to be lighter when I do that. And create a pretty flower up here, just using the same brush, kind of pushing down on the side. It's like an open peony or something like that. Connecting to that one. So we've got some of the pinks going. I want to use this blue-gray again. I don't know, I'm going to make some fun, funky lines, just kind of playing around with this color. See? You can see on my messy desk over here, don't pay attention to it. We'll just move that, how's that? I like this purple-blue color. Just put this around in some spaces. And we're almost there. I'm going to grab some, like the neutral tint itself, water that down. Kind of grab some elements. See? I just go like that. Put some out here. This is just little things I like to do to make it more expressive. See, it's like a black, bluish color. And it's going to pop out some areas. Just little lines that are expressive. Right? Put some in here, in between those yellows. And in here. And then we could make the veins in the leaves darker green. You don't have to do that. Just changes the leaves a little bit. And we'll go back in and do our layer of these guys again. It's the orange. You know, the mums had like 3 or 4 layers and little ones in the middle. So we're getting that kind of multi-layer approach here. Little teeny ones in the center, just like that. And that's pretty much it, you know. Just go in and play around with adding. I'm gonna add some darker ones of this color I made with the ultramarine blue and the neutral tint. Just make it a little bit darker in some areas. And even this little fun little thing that I created. That was that weird flower. I don't know what the heck that was. Maybe you guys know what it is. And I feel like they need some little green leaves over there. So I'm going to grab the yellow, mix it in here. I'm still using this filbert brush, by the way. Be more regular green kind of color. You could just throw in a little cute little branch out here, which is some simple rounded leaves. Right? Just for interest. Rounded leaves here. Almost like eucalyptus. I'm going to add some more of that peacock blue to give that eucalyptus kind of look. Just different. I changed it. You know, again, some rounded, a little brown to that. Leaves out here. On the blue side. And grab some of the brown stem. Kind of connecting. See, getting some more elements. Always adding. I like that neutral tint mix with the brown. There, I think it's pretty much done. So that's what I created from that bouquet. I know it doesn't seem like it was that bouquet, but that's what you can do. I feel like there's something over here that's missing. I don't know what. I'll grab this neutral tint again, and I'll do like another little simple branch. And water it down. Really pale gray leaves. I don't know if I even like what I just did, but I did it. Just changed it up a little more. I just felt like it was stuck here, like the edge was stuck. Grab that neutral tint color. Make it go off the page. Playing around, guys. That's what you should be doing. Just playing around. And I'll even go back in again for one more last in the center of that mum. But this is how I would take a bouquet that I didn't like so much. But I got some of the elements. I'll just change it up a little bit. And that's that. This is what we've created from just looking at a supermarket shopping bouquet. Don't be afraid, try it. You know, I showed you all the different brushes, so we went through a lot of brushes. But we went through 2 oval brushes. These are great to have. If you don't have any oval brushes, you should need to get some. This is, I don't know where I got this at Michael's, this one. This is a bigger one, this is a tiny one. These 2 brushes alone, we didn't even need the Princeton Neptune. And I used that big flat wash brush. Didn't need that either. Well, yeah, you didn't need it. You could have probably done the whole thing with these 2. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And hit the bell notification button, that little ding bell on the right-hand side to know when my tutorial is up. And check out my Patreon. So have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.